Okay, fine. So this evening we are supposed to work on argumentation. And one of the things that we are supposed to do, you are supposed to do, is to elaborate, to build a workshop or an exercise focusing on that focuses on the argumentation as a competence. So this part maybe we can postpone schedule for later, since we need you, Younes, to be active and discuss initially with Anka. And another part of this evening would be to analyze and evaluate, for you to evaluate some arguments. This is something we can also do. But first, since you, Younes, you are a little bit moving and focusing on other things, let's have a more free discussion about argumentation, about the topic of the week, of the first 2 weeks. So I would start in this way, so you can also have the time to arrange yourself, Younes. So let's start with a conversation or with some questions or doubts that you might have about argumentation. And if you do not have doubts or questions, then we touch on some interesting problems on argumentation. So I leave this a little bit on you, Anka and Younes, if you want to raise something, some topic, what raised your interest in the first 2 weeks of course?
I want to say that I couldn't because I didn't have the classroom. Laila didn't add me to the classroom yet.
Okay, well.
So I don't know about the exercise exactly.
Yeah, okay, well, you know about argumentation, you know, okay, you didn't do the homework, so maybe you don't have any issue, fresh issue, or at end. But let's see, we have another participant here, Alex.
Oh, I was also in the other group.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to find where I'm supposed to be. I'm doing workshops, but it doesn't look like there's a workshops group.
What? This I don't know. Here we are working on competencies, but we have just started. So,
well, I thought to join you if there's no group.
Yeah, you stay with us, and then if there is a new group specific for workshop, then you change. Okay.
Right.
Keep scanning the chat in case your group pops up. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Alex, so I repeat a little bit here. We want to analyze, to comment, to share some reflection about argumentation, since it is the topic of the week. If you have something, some concern, some doubt, some enthusiasm that you want to share about argumentation.
I did level 2 last time, and I went through argumentation very quickly, and I kind of took for granted. I thought there wasn't much to it, and going through the write-up on argumentation, I realize it's the tools there are very much the starting point for a lot of the consultations as well. We had a session. We had a session last week on argumentation. One of the things I found very difficult was that the group was often split on why it was a bad argument or a good argument. And the looseness of this was, I found, a bit troubling. I wanted a firmer answer to what's a good argument and a bad argument, and we couldn't agree.
Okay, but you were discussing a specific argument or in general, some general hints or qualities that an argument should have in order to be classified good or bad?
Sometimes it's very clear if something is incoherent, but some of the difficulties I think we had last week was whether there wasn't a clear inconsistency. We were fighting over whether one word had a greater weight or not, or such things as like when an argument is missing, when it appears to be missing something additional could be added.
Okay, yeah. That is that would be the problem of incompleteness. That would be an incomplete argument. Yeah, or when something is missing, there is an idea, there is something there, but it's not explained, it's not justified fully, the position. So there is a first step, but in order to make an argument, we need maybe 3 steps. And so there is 1 or 2 steps that are missing. So yeah, it's not always easy to decide if it is incomplete or not. Yeah, but then well, at least you manage to agree on a problem. But maybe if there is a problem, this might be a problem, the problem. So, well, also, let me elaborate a little bit on this incompleteness.
I want to add something related to what Alex said.
Okay, were you in the same workshop?
Yes.
Okay, maybe you remember then. Yeah,
Me too. I was also in the same workshop. It was last week.
Okay, Anka?
I really liked that at first, for some of us, it wasn't clear. For example, I am for the first time in a workshop like this that's has this form. And it's true that there were a lot of unclear things to me, and I was often on the other side. But it was very nice how at the end, how Isabel helped us, and at the end we all agreed and reached to the same conclusion. And I found that was a much pedagogical exercise from which we've learned than if we have all agreed from the beginning.
Okay, yeah. But indeed, the movement of the thinking of a dialogue reveals as a value, because it puts your mind into work, so in the process. And it's also fine if you swing from one idea to another and you cannot decide. That means that your mind is working, is evaluating, is weighting pro and cons arguments in favor of a positioning and in favor of another one. So yeah, indeed, when there is this process and we swing, sometimes it's okay, it takes time. Maybe it's not comfortable because we don't know what to decide, but as long as there is a movement, we are able to produce new content, arguments, criterias. Then we are working, the mind is alive, and we are training it. Then, what now? It doesn't really matter if that one was incomplete or not, but what has the value, what's worth it, is that you were thinking if it was such or such a way, if it was incomplete or not, if that thing, that element that someone claimed it was missing, well, is really needed. Does it make a difference? Is it necessary? Or maybe not? Is it obvious? Is it understood? Is it implicit or no? Or it has to be stated. So all these things, these elements are helping you. Well, because next time they will be fresh or living well alive in your mind, and you will use those elements to evaluate. Yeah. So no, I don't want to step into the real argument that you were discussing last time. So this was a little bit the idea. But then I noticed a difference that you, Anka, you are using this as a wall. It was a nice experience. I enjoyed it. On your side, Alex, it was more, I have the impression it was more bothersome as a situation, right? Or
Yeah.
tell me, why was it bothersome?
There was something too loose about it. And you used a word now earlier that I think contains it. This word, what is implicit and what is not, when you read a sentence.
Yeah.
That seems, what is implicit for one is not implicit for another. And then for clarity's sake, you have to be, this is when we get into argument. It's very implicit. It's clearly there when you could use more words.
Yeah.
For some it's good enough. For others, it's not good enough.
Yes. Yes. Okay. That is often a problem. And that, it's interesting because it creates a problem also among tutors as well. Among us, we are a little community of teachers, of tutors, and sometimes we share in our chat, hey, would you accept this or not? Is it a mistake or not? Is it incomplete or not? And then someone says, well, but no, it's not incomplete, it's obvious. That's what is already, it's not written, but it's there. And then other one says, wow, no, it's not obvious. It has to be said, to be written. Otherwise, could be different. So, yeah. Now we have to. Sometimes there is no clear cut, but we have some tools, some questions that we can use to lead or to try to discern. Discriminate if it is implicit or missing. So one thing is to appeal to the registers of reality. So if it is possible, probable, necessary, or impossible. So these are things that we use. These are ideas that we use when we interpret a story, a situation, a behavior, no? And if something is only possible, we used to say merely possible, then normally we say it's over-interpretation. I don't know, are you familiar with interpretation, with these problems? If you're not, maybe I stop or I explain a little bit more. So this,
it would help to explain a bit more.
Yeah, okay. So let's leave aside the interpretation, but let's use the registers of reality. With possible, probable, impossible, necessary. So we don't want to be strict on these numbers and statistics, but when something is possible, it means that it might happen, it might not happen, or there is an equal possibility of for this to happen, or to happen in one way or in another way. So tomorrow can be rainy, sunny, snowing, windy, okay? if we don't know, if there is no hint, if we have no clue, then everything is possible for the day after, and we have a range of 10 different weather that might happen. These are possible weather, because there is no situation that has a precedence or more probability to happen. Therefore, we say this is possible. Well, it's possible, but we have no reason, no clue to say that windy is the one. Oh no, there is a high chance that tomorrow is windy. Okay, so possible, it might happen in that way or in a different way. Okay, then different thing is probability. Probability is when one of these possible has a priority. It's more likely to happen. So for instance, the windy weather, okay, if we have some forecast, if we look at the star, if we are meteorologist, okay, we might gather hints, the pressure, the temperature, telling us that tomorrow is going to be windy. And then there is a high probability. We also give the forecast, 80% humidity, 90% wind at that speed in that direction. Okay, that we have clues to say that that is probable, right? Okay, then something that is necessary is that either it is a logical, a mathematical rule, law, or something which is counter-natural, to be the opposite. So that we can say, well, an example is that a triangle has got 3 sides. That is a necessity. Or tomorrow will be another day. Okay, so tomorrow will be another day. Or there are philosophers, skeptics that say, no, you cannot affirm, you cannot have the knowledge that tomorrow will be another day. Well, yes, well, this is very philosophical, it's subtle argumentation, but based on experience, if you have to bet all your money, you would bet that tomorrow will be another day. So this is based on experience. It's so strong that makes a necessity. It's not a reason necessity, it's from experience. Okay. So, or that if I jump from the window, I will fall down. Okay. That's because it's how the world has always worked, and how we all believe and are sure that the world will continue to work. Necessity. Okay, then there is an impossibility. Either it is an impossibility of reason, something that if we state it, it's a contradiction in terms, or that based on experience, it cannot happen. It's just imagination, it's a fantasy, that we jump from the window and we start to float in the air. Okay. So these are the registers of reality. Okay, we can use these registers in order to check what is implicit in a sentence, in a statement. Well, when we claim that something is implicit, okay, it means that, okay, we are appealing to something that is probable. So if the part that is missing, not said, well, it's probable, it's kind of a consequence. It goes by itself towards that direction, and it's not too far, that connection. Well, then we can accept it as implicit. If it's just possible and other possibilities would not work for that argument, for that implicit, then okay, maybe no, maybe it's better to state, maybe it's really missing. Well, and let's go back to the example. If we go with windy, sunny, raining, snowing, all the 10 different weather that might happen. Okay, if the implicit is snowing, and snowing, what is the missing gear of the argument? Well, okay, then if the argument works only with snowing, but there are 9 other elements that might happen that are fitting what is explicit, what is said, well, then what did I say? Raining, this word has to be said. It's not implicit, because there are 9 other possible weather that would not make the argument, that would not work with the argument. So I have to say the implicit one.
Can you give examples of implicit that is considered good and implicit that it's not considered?
Well, we should look at an argument. I know now in this moment I don't have an argument in mind, but let me try to figure out.
We could try with the weather, like find an argument with the example that you gave.
Well, the weather was more about the probability, to work on probability. We should use another one. Let me see. Well, if I have to answer, well, I have a question here in front of my eyes, because I have some exercise that I want to evaluate, and we have this question: should we question everything? And then an answer goes like, yes, we should question everything because it teaches us. So that questioning teaches what, yeah, okay, we can see that if we question something, we can get some teaching from there. But then the missing gear is that, okay, this teaching, teaching what? There are many things that can be taught, that can be taken as a teaching, as a learning for us. So what kind of teaching is that? So we should elaborate more. Here the argument is incomplete. There is something, but the connection between questioning everything and that this represents a teaching, what you have to explain it. There is a missing gear, there is a missing element. Well, how this teaching can be realized through questioning. Does it work? I mean, does it make sense what I say?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're saying that there is a missing argument.
Yeah.
Which would connect teaching.
No, but no, wait a moment. It's not a missing argument. The argument is there. There is an argument, which is teaching. Questioning teaches. So should we question everything? Well, the answer is yes, because it teaches us. So questioning teaches us. Okay, then there is this teaching business that we should clarify. So there is an argument there. So the problem that we say is not that there is a missing argument. The argument is there, but it's poor. It's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
We can think about somehow that questioning teaches, and it's good. So we should not miss an opportunity for getting a learning. But it's not said, which is something which is important, how this is done, how teaching is done, what we learn, what teaching we receive from questioning, and why it should not stop. Why should should be about everything. So it's the beginning of an answer, of an argument. Something is missing.
And if we connect it with the registers of reality, you would say that
Yeah,
it's
go on. Yeah, do it.
it's
Create a
possible. It seems like it's in the possibility, but I cannot tell why.
Yeah, okay. So try to use the tool that I gave you. So, and name 3 different way of teaching, of way of learning. Tell me one.
Other than questioning.
Well, you can, one will be questioning. So if you want, you can tell me how questioning everything teaches. You can start from there.
I'm sorry, Luca.
Yeah.
The question is how questioning everything teaches, and we have to think about 3 arguments to give for that statement.
Okay. Let's use a document. I'm sharing the document in the chat. You tell me if you can access it.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the question, and that you have this argument. And one problem, there might be more problems for this argument, but this problem, this argument has at least one problem of incompleteness. And we can agree on incompleteness if we agree that questioning everything has this pedagogical function. Then if we see it, if we agree with this idea that teaches, okay, in this answer there is something, okay, then we can criticize this argument by saying that it's incomplete, because teaches us is not obviously and evidently connected with questioning everything, right? Good. Now, we want to use the tool to see if the tool that I'm proposing you to use, these registers of reality, can be applied in this case. Okay? Then, if we want to apply the tool, then, and to check this probable and possible, we should try to go a bit farther. So meaning that we should make the work here, this thinking work, and to see what I'm proposing is to give 3 possible way of teaching. One of them should come from questioning everything. 2 of them should not come from questioning everything, should come from something else. If you are able to do it, then we are using the tool of possibility and probability, registers of reality, to define if the implicit has to be stated or not. Is it clear? Okay, then now Anka was trying to tell us, elaborating in how questioning everything teaches us. So we can complete the argument by using this idea. So by showing, by writing, articulating how this questioning everything leads to teaching, leads to some learning. If you're able to do Anka, go ahead. Otherwise, Alex or Younes, you can try.
Well, if somebody else has an idea, I'm okay with.
Maybe with experience.
Yeah, go on. Well,
So-
elaborate, explain. You have to complete this argument by adding one sentence or two.
I think with experience, you also learn. So you have to questioning everything, and also with experience, like when you question everything, it is like really with questions, thinking. But there is also experiencing. Like I have to experience this, and maybe I don't think it is a good experience, and then you want to experience something else. So with experiencing different things, you can also like, it's like questioning everything. I don't know how to explain it.
That's the point, Younes. Well, right. Complete or reformulate this answer by making evident the connection between questioning everything teaches us. Explain why.
Yes, I have to write it.
Yeah, write it, because it's easier for us to evaluate and to understand what you say. Okay, wait a moment. Yeah. Now, this one is a nice attempt, or it's a nice option for something else than questioning. So it's funny. You wanted to explain questioning, and now you are bringing a different way of learning. But experience teaches us.
Yeah, because you can question something, you can question everything, but questioning could also be like experiencing. Because when you question everything, you want to know everything, you can also say like experiencing everything. Because I don't know, you can say you have this experience, but I'm not sure if this experience is true. So I'm gonna also experience it like I'm questioning it. So that's why I see like a parallel. I don't know how to say this in English, but
No, yeah, okay, I understand. Yeah. Now, but this experience, adding different experiences, it's at first seems a different way from questioning everything. Do you agree?
because it's like you have to experience everything. Should we question everything? It's like, should we experience everything?
Yeah, okay, but question everything, it means that you doubt everything, that you create.
Yes.
Okay, but experience is not about doubting.
Also, because I'm like, I don't have experience in a lot of things in the world.
Yeah.
But if so I doubt it. I doubt your experience and the experience of other people.
Okay, yeah, but it's a different movement, the doubt, than the experience. I understand that you can then experience doubting, and you doubt your experience, but when you enter a circular loop, two movements of the mind are two different movements. One thing is to doubt something, you problematize, you put under question, under inquire, because you are not convinced, you're not sure, because you see something that, well, no, you don't want to take. And another thing is to create, and is to have an experience, to undergo something.
But they are both they are based on doubt. Like with question, you want to know something that you don't know. Then maybe you can get to an
no,
answer.
wait a moment, no. Experience, in order to have an experience or to experience something, you don't need to doubt. Well, if you go and while playing soccer, do you have to doubt soccer? So you go there, you have this experience.
Yes. I think if we look at the probability, I can take it because I wanted to
Yeah.
like put them next to each other. Like you can
Yeah,
also
but
say with questioning.
you are
Yes.
stretching a lot this idea. Well, let's go with
Okay.
simple things.
I'm gonna
Now,
stop there.
experience, when you say experience, then it's more evident that is a way to gather knowledge, that experience teaches you, yes, but it's a different way from questioning everything. Hmm?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe because of the effect. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Then it
Because
can
if
be,
you experience, it's different than questioning. Because if you question, you get an answer. Maybe you are not satisfied. You're maybe more questioning.
okay. But then with experience, you might be satisfied.
Yes. Or you have something. You
Yeah,
can.
you get something.
Yes.
So let's not complicate things, because it's already quite complicated. So experience also teaches different things in life. Okay, and this experience, well, it's an alternative to question everything, make experiences. Hmm? Okay, so let's keep things simple. Now, Anka, you had something you wanted, you raised your hand.
Oh, yes, I can try to say why
Yeah.
questioning everything can help us learn. Questioning everything can help us see if the knowledge we have is valid.
Okay, yeah. If the knowledge we have is valid because we test it, right? Okay, so yeah, right, this thing. Okay, well, sentence, well, there is 2 times help. It's a bit redundant, but it's clear. There's the operation of questioning. It's like testing the knowledge. So it's like to evaluate. It's stressing the point. It's requiring an additional grounding for it. Hmm? Okay, yeah. So this is a way of teaching. So elaborate if the knowledge that we have, what we get, is valid. We want to test something. And questioning, it's a way of doing it. Hmm? Okay, this one seems to work. Well, yeah, let me go to Younes. Younes, you see here that these ideas are directly connected with questioning.
Yes, but I think I understood the task wrong.
Oh,
But it's okay.
okay. Now you are with us. Okay.
Yes. Because I was really focused on the should we question everything.
Okay, no, focus on the teaching.
Yes.
What can teach us? What are tools or what are ways of getting learnings, of teaching? And now we should find another one. Let's find another one which is not connected to questioning everything. Another way of teaching which is not questioning and which is not the experience, because experience is already there.
Maybe
Yeah.
It teaches us like innovation, to innovate.
Yeah. How innovate can be a teaching. What should we learn when we innovate?
Well, when you question everything, you can check, like you can test, like the what Anka said.
No, now you're going back in the confusion. No, it's not connected to question everything. It's connected to teaching. How can you get teaching which is not related to question anything, everything? To
Yes.
question everything, you delete that word, that idea from your brain, and you tell me about teaching, innovation, but no question everything should not be there. You're not answering, you don't have to answer the question now. Don't
Okay.
focus in answering the question. Focus on find a way of teaching. How do you learn things?
We could learn by reading.
Okay, reading. You learn by reading. Okay, explain. Yes, elaborate a little bit more.
So you can get information by reading a book or some course.
Okay, so you take a course. It's different from experience. Okay, while here Yunus, when he stated experience, it was having an experience. It was not. It was more immersive. It was a situational. It was not a book. So it was not about reading, having the experience. Okay, so it's a different one. Okay, so you read a book, you can learn things. It's to read a book. It's a way to teach yourself something.
Mm-hmm.
Reading a book is not about questioning something. It's not the primary activity. Of course, can be connected, can be something that you can then connect with questioning everything, but at first it is not there. It's a different thing. Okay, so reading. Okay, well, write it, please. Okay, reading a book teaches us. Okay, good. Now, Alex, but you were a bit silent. Can you use can you apply the tool of possibility and probability to discriminate, to decide if this argument is incomplete or not?
Whether the argument reading a book teaches us is valid.
No,
Was
no.
probable.
What? No. Our task now is to evaluate the argument, is to define if the argument is incomplete or not. Well, this we know from the beginning because we decided, we agreed that this argument is incomplete. This argument is this one. Okay, this is a question. Question. Here we have answer. And then we have, okay, let's do like this. This one is in yellow, the positioning, and this one is the argument in blue. Okay?
Yeah.
Good.
It depends whether it's implicit in questioning. It's probable that it's implicit in questioning everything that necessarily teaches us. And I think it's
wait, no, it's not there. What we should check about the implicit, if it teaches us, questioning everything teaches us, is it implicit that teaches us this modality, this way of teaching? The teaching is what? Learning by testing the knowledge that we have.
Or by testing the knowledge, by questioning everything, we test the knowledge that we have, and that is a form of teaching.
Yeah, but testing validity, testing the knowledge that we have, well, is a form of teaching, no? This we agree.
Yes.
But is it the only form of teaching? Testing the validity of the knowledge.
But I feel this can be problematized.
No, wait. Yeah, if it can be problematized, it means that it is acceptable. It works.
If it can be problematized, that means it's acceptable.
Well, everything can be problematized, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can problematize something. If we want to problematize, we can problematize whatever we want.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not the point of problematizing it. So let's not do the exercise of problematization. This is the exercise of argumentation. So now we have teaching. Teaching can be done in different ways. We listed 3 ways, right?
Yes.
Testing the validity of the knowledge, going through experience, and reading a reading. These are 3 different ways of teaching or getting learnings, right? Or of learning something. Okay, good. Well, there is only one that links directly. It's a clear connection with questioning everything, right? Which is the first one. We'll call it 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
So you're saying that if we have 3 possibilities, that means that the first one is just a possibility?
Yes. So this one is a possibility in teaching, because teaching and learning, what can happen in many different ways. So you cannot claim that when you talk about teaching, you talk about testing the knowledge, the validity of the knowledge. Because teaching can be in other different ways. And I'm sure we can find more ways, but 3 is enough. So only one is connected with questioning everything. And it's the first one. Number 2 and number 3 are different, are other things. So these 3 are possibilities for teaching, possible declination of teaching. So if we mean one, if there is only one that works as an argument, then I have to state it. It's not implicit in it teaches us. No, because here there are more things. And the many things that are included in teaching the many possible ways that are available, that are possibilities for teachings, well, only one relates to questioning everything. So I cannot say that here is implicit the connection with questioning everything.
So Luca, could you also say this is undifferentiated? Because that answer can apply to many things. We've got many examples here. Because the question could be, should we kick rocks? And you could say yes, because it teaches us.
No, wait a moment, no. Differentiation is with the argumentation, is an argument that works, or better said, doesn't work, also to support the opposite positioning. That is an undifferentiated argument. So an argument that if you switch the initial positioning to its opposite, well, it gives the same sense of validity. So here, if you twist it, if you switch and you say, well, okay, let's hear it. Should we question everything? No, because it teaches us. It's weird, no? It's contradictory, no? There is a friction there. No, it doesn't work. It's okay with yes, because it teaches us. Then it's incomplete. Then we should say how, because it's not clear, the connection, it's not obvious. But it's not undifferentiated. Because if I say that it teaches us, well, I feel, I sense a little bit this connection with questioning everything.
So undifferentiated is when the opposite can just as likely apply.
No, an undifferentiated argument is an argument that can be used to support also the opposite positioning. Well, I give you an easy one. Is it better to eat carrot or celery? Salary. No, how do you know? How do you spell celery? Let's see. Is it that one? Celery.
Oh, I wrote it.
Yeah, okay, good. What? Thank you. Of course, carrot. Those they are
Vegetables.
healthy. No. The carrots are healthy, right? So of course, better to eat carrots. Well, this argument is undifferentiated because I can use it to support celery as well. Because also celery is healthy. So that's why this argument, well, it's an argument because there is a new idea. I cannot say it's absent. There is an argument. It's there. It is relevant because it's connected with the content of the question. I'm not talking about something else. I'm talking about things that are healthy. But then, this argument, this idea goes with carrots and with celery, with both of them. So I cannot use it. It's not good for one nor for the other. Because I can use the same argument and say, well, of course, celery, because, well, it's healthy. Yeah, do you understand this idea of undifferentiated?
Yes, in this example, I understand it.
Okay, yeah, then let's go to our, why now it's, I'm highlighting everything, I don't know. Is it me who is highlighting the document? I don't want to highlight. No, I don't know. So, now, when you see it in this example, which is a simple one, it's clear. And what's the problem in our example, in our discussion about should we question everything?
And it's not probable because it can apply to, because there are many different ways to teach. So teaching isn't, questioning, there's not a definite connection, a probable connection between teaching and questioning everything.
Now you change your focus. We were discussing undifferentiated argument.
Yes.
Okay. But the problem that we have here, that we found here, was incompleteness. Then you proposed, okay, maybe there is another problem in this argument. And we're talking about this argument, this one, right? Okay. And you say, well, I think it's also undifferentiated. And then I said, well, no, because so far I think it's not undifferentiated. Because I cannot support the opposite positioning, which is no. Well, here okay, let's go step by step. Here we have two possible positioning, but carrots are better or celery is better, okay? Good, this is the only possible positioning. Also here, we have only two options. One is, yes, we should question everything. The other one is, no, we should not question everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now, if you say that it is undifferentiated, it means that you can use, it teaches us for supporting the no positioning, okay? So if you maintain this, then I ask you how, explain. Then let's try. Okay, let's go here. Okay.
But what is the question?
The same.
I think I.
Now
So
we are
want to find an undifferentiated argument for this.
We are testing if we try to understand. Now we are discussing if it teaches us is undifferentiated, is an undifferentiated argument. So now we are shifting our focus from incomplete argument and why it is incomplete. And we discussed how can we use the registers of reality to discover or to understand, to test if something is implicit or not in the answer. And this is what we did before, okay? And in order to do it, we needed three possibilities. And we found the 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're into a different problem. And the problem that Alex raises, and he says, hey, I think this one is also, it has another problem that is undifferentiation. But according to our little brief definition of undifferentiated argument, well, a differentiated argument is an idea that can support one positioning, but also the opposite positioning. Okay, are we together? Now, Alex, does it work, this answer?
I think it can work.
Yeah? Tell us.
I think it can work because the initial question looks like a moral proposition. There's a should. And if I believe that teaching is not a good thing, it's perfectly reasonable to answer and say we shouldn't question everything because.
Wait a moment. Wait a moment. Let's stop a moment in teaching.
Yeah.
Teaching, what? Normally, is it a good or bad thing?
Well,
Because I'm under the impression that you are taking a very narrow, strict minority that thinks that teaching is bad. Or what are you thinking about that teaching?
yeah,
Very few people that says that teaching is bad.
I agree with that. I'm taking a very minority position on it.
Okay. So I think the beginning of your defense of your argument is a little bit problematic. So teaching delivers an idea of positivity, of something which is good. No?
And the way you're testing me on this is by going to the view that most people hold regarding teaching. You're saying that most people see teaching as a good. There may be a very minority who says it's better to remain ignorant.
Yeah. Well, it's not 50-50. It's a vast majority that says teaching is good. I mean, in my mind now, I have to struggle. I have to make an effort to find someone that says that teaching is not good. Because also those people, they want to teach something. They have their teachings that are good. So they would teach their teachings, and they would say teaching is good, but they would argue about the content of the teachings. But in general, teaching, well, okay. Or schools, in general, well, you can criticize the school, the content, what they teach in school. But to find someone, there are a lot of people that work to reform the educational system, right? But to find someone that says, no, we should not teach to each other, we should not teach to kids. It's very, very bold statement, no?
Yeah, it's definitely a minority, and I guess I'm just dealing with maybe a meta idea of these moral questions, and that there are arguments that are probable for them.
Okay, yeah. But now, yes, Anka, wait a moment. You repeat that this is a moral question.
Is it
Maybe,
in this should?
Yeah, there is a should. It's a prescriptive. There is a duty in this question. Or can say moral, but okay. When we speak about moral, I'm afraid that we are narrowing a little bit the field. It's a prescription. Or we can say moral, but we have to take it in a very broad sense. It's moral because it says it wants to inform, to shape a behavior or a way of thinking. Because this one, it's more a way of thinking than a behavior. So Okay, let's say moral, but in a very broad, wide sense. Okay, but then if you want, you can. Well, let's go to Anka for a moment, Alex. Then you keep thinking, okay? If you want to tell us that this is undifferentiated, you have to have a new beginning, okay, new opening. Anka.
I wonder if it works. No, because it teaches us to live with uncertainty, if we are talking about this.
Write your answer here. Okay, but then there is another problem here. Then what? What teaches you to deal and to live in the uncertainty? Questioning or not questioning?
Well, I am also
Wait. Stay with me.
questioning.
Okay, so questioning helps
no.
you to deal with uncertainty, right? It throws you in a life of uncertainty because you become comfortable, because you question. So questions, uncertain. Wait a moment, Eunice, but Anka here,
Yeah.
there is a cognitive dissonance here. She's got something in her head and there is something that, there is a friction.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, there is a friction.
Yeah, the word everything, about the word everything.
Well, no, it's not about the word everything. It's about questioning. Let's forget about everything. So questioning. When you question something, there is certainty or uncertainty.
Uncertainty.
Okay, good. Lots of questions, uncertainty. Little question or barely no question, almost no question. What? Certainty.
Certainty.
Okay, then should we question? What? No, we should not question. That means we should remove questions because then it teaches us to live with uncertainty. Or you just said the opposite. With questions, we live with uncertainty. No question, no uncertainty. So this is a very nice one, and this is a contradictory argument. Because a lot of questions teach us to live with uncertainty. What does not help us in living, or what does not teach us to live with uncertainty, are dogmas. We have a dogma, but we remove uncertainty, or we think or we pretend we know things and no uncertainty. Dogmatic people have no doubt, are certain. People with a lot of questions, while are uncertain, are not sure, are able to deal, to live in a changing world, unstable, uncertain. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this one, it's a nice example of a contradictory argument. Formulate a nice argument, but what teaches us to live with uncertainty is to have a lot of questions. When you are given an answer, you are not satisfied, you don't believe it, you question it, you throw the doubt. Throwing the doubt, questioning, what it's a way of removing, it's not settle with a given knowledge, with certainty. So it's a way of living in uncertainty. Then I come to you, Younes, but let's see if we are together here. It's a very weird or unusual, no, it's not weird, it's an unusual session, workshop on argumentation. But I'm having fun.
You mean? Give an argument.
Well, because to use this idea of using probability, the registers of reality, as a criteria, as a tool to check on the implicit or not of something, of a statement, it's something that it's for the first time that I develop and I discuss this idea. I was using it intuitively, but it's the first time that I'm using it. And now Alex comes with this, okay, it's undifferentiated, wow. And suddenly we shift to undifferentiated argument, and actually we start to see quite a few problems with argumentation, because we are going through incompleteness, undifferentiated argument, contradictory argument. These are interesting cases, and not negligible, because these are vivid problems with argumentation. So that's why I'm surprised and happy with what we're doing. It's different, it's unusual.
Luca, on this one, the contradiction would be removed if you remove the no. If you say yes, because it teaches us to live with uncertainty.
Yes.
It's the no that is the contradiction.
Yes. Bingo. When we have a contradictory argument, we change the positioning to the opposite, and we have a good argument. So if we say yes, this becomes a very nice argument for answering this question.
I have a question.
Yeah, I'll wait a moment, because now Younes is waiting for me since long, so I want to ask Younes, have you still got a question or no?
Yeah, I have a comment about what maybe the whole thing with the beginner with Alex. I was not listening very well, but I don't know if I understood him well, but I have this feeling that maybe it is about like the perfect argument, but I don't think it exists, even though we give a lot of criteria, but it's still, you cannot say this is the best or the perfect thing that you can give. It always is like a little bit, it's like probable.
Okay. So
and common sense also sometimes.
But now you are accusing Alex of being a perfectionist. He wants a definitive argument. When he has to provide an argumentation, he wants the perfect argument, the ultimate argument. Okay, you have
No, it is like a gut. It's just like gut feeling, because I also see it, but because I have accepted it. Like there is no because you want something to hold on and use, like always a criterion you can always see back and use it. But it's never, because all the sentences, the argumentations, the questions always are different. And that makes it difficult to grasp it.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong, Alex. Maybe I don't know.
Well, let's check. Alex, is it true that you are a bit of perfectionist? You want the ultimate argument, you want to find this perfect cocktail for argumentation? I don't know.
Yeah, that's how I was feeling. I'm looking for a definite formula, but reality is stranger than that.
Yes.
Yeah, so I am also like that, Alex. But I have like given up because I thought, because I think, because also it's like philosophy, I think. I'm not sure, but it's difficult to grasp things.
Yeah. Well,
Like mathematics, for example, or like
yes.
the how you say, the exact sciences.
Yeah, here it's more when we work with argumentation, well, there is not just one argument that works. There can be reasonable arguments, what ideas that are able to ground, to support different opinions or different choices. What this question, well, come on, should we question everything? Well, we can answer both yes and no. One way we can answer yes, because it creates an attitude, it helps you to live with uncertainty. Well, for the things that we said here, well, we said a few things, but then at a certain moment, we should stop this questioning. Otherwise, we become crazy. We should give something for granted. We should accept things for their face value. So this question, it's really, there is no one single answer. There are reasons to say yes, to answer yes, and there are reasons to answer no. There are many questions that are like that. So, I don't know.
Point, does that mean there's no probable answer to this?
Probable, it's what does it mean, a probable answer? So in the sense that what probably is the answer that most people would give to this question, well, then maybe we can try to guess what is the probable answer. We ask this question to 100 people, and then the most recurring answer is the most probable. Okay, so this can be a criteria for the probability. What's a probable answer? Then, if there is a correct answer to this question, well, I don't think so. No. There are arguments that are valid, that are acceptable, and arguments that are not. This is what we want to do in philosophy, to evaluate arguments, and one moment, Anka. And this material is also in your in the lessons of argumentation. We don't want to convince another person. We don't want to defend ourselves. Well, the main concern of a philosophical argument is to give ground, is to support, is to provide an idea that can clarify a choice. That is what we are concerned with in philosophy. Then, okay, then we can try to appeal to emotions, to values, to desires, to convince someone, and we can do whatever you want. But our concern, what we are evaluating here, is the ability of the answer of providing a supporting idea for what we want to say.
Luca, maybe
Yeah.
The framework that I'm working in when we talk about probabilities, I'm thinking of, because I'm a lawyer, I'm always thinking about 50% plus 1. That we always must get over that mark. And maybe just a funny comment on that the discretion on probability is always left to a judge, to a human being, weighing all the evidence that you lead there. And you make a very interesting comment now on probability, because it's a strange thing for me to hear, that when we're looking at probability, you gave the example here. One, we could look at probability by taking 100 people and seeing if 50% plus 1 says yes. And the law actually accommodates that. The law of causation, it uses language like common sense. That's even in our law. So
Yeah.
this, but I think I'm stuck. The 50% plus 1, and I'm realizing even causation in the law is stranger than this. The test is very hard to understand in the law as well.
Yes.
You have it also with the jury. Sorry, you have it also with the jury in the United States. I don't know a lot about law, but it's up to the jury, and they have to vote, I think. So then it's also common sense.
Okay, but yeah, well, the jury represents the common sense. If they are
Yes.
convinced or not, then it's the majority. No, in that case,
Yeah, majority. Yes.
plus 1. Okay.
Yes.
It's the majority. But it's a different idea than probability, the majority or not, 50% plus 1. So for something, for how we use this idea, this concept of probability, normally it's a bit stronger than 50 plus 1. When we say something is probable, it means that it's 80, 90%. When we work on presuppositions, for instance, you are level 2, so you know what the presupposition is. And when we claim something about the author of the question, well, if it is 55%, it's not so. We don't say it's probable. We say something is probable if it is more. If it is what I would be surprised if it was not the case. So there are different ways of using probability, and yeah.
But Luca, is it because, for example, with presuppositions, you almost certainly know, you cannot say certainly, but because you cannot check it, we say like this 80, 90%. Like this gap of 20 or 10% is because you cannot check it, but it's like common sense, very high probability that it's like this presupposition you have about this thing or this one or something is like everyone understands it. Just because you cannot fact check it at that moment.
Well, no, it's because I draw a conclusion on the author of a question. For instance, if I am a baseball player and I'm there with the how you call it, I have to hit the ball, and at a certain moment I say, well, why I'm not able to hit the ball that I'm thrown? Well, in this question, I can say that the author is unsatisfied with himself. Okay, you good with this presupposition? Good. Okay, this one is not necessary. We say that it is probable, but the author doesn't say does not say that I'm unsatisfied, I'm not happy with myself, I feel important. It's not written, it's not said. Maybe if we tell him, he will fight against this judgment. But it's probable, no, that this person is unsatisfied with himself because he's a baseball player and complains that he's not able to hit the ball. Okay, so I would not say 100%, but 99, 98.
Yes.
Big probability, right? Okay. So this is why I say that normally when we say that something is probable, we need something more concrete, solid than 51%. Okay, so that's the idea, and it's not the criteria of majority. It's a different thing. It's used in an operation.
But,
okay, yeah.
But could you, because now I'm also thinking, could it be like about, I don't want to say everything, but for example, this how do you say, not the wall, but the
Ceiling.
yes, the ceiling.
Ceiling.
Yes, the ceiling. It is probable that you cannot say it's a fact that this ceiling will not fall down, because sometimes the ceilings fall down, like they
collapse. Yeah.
They collapse. Yes. So you can say about everything. Maybe I'm sitting here that I don't fall down. Everything is like probable, because I cannot check it that it will not fall. Maybe because of my experience, I live here already like 32 years in this house.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure, because it could collapse.
Yeah, okay, but then well, actually, you think that probably this is more. You think that the ceiling will not collapse during the night, and you believe it strongly. Otherwise, you would not sleep in there.
Yes.
Okay, so if there was 10% probability, 10%, it's not a lot, but the ceiling collapse, I think you would move to a friend for the night.
Yes.
Okay.
There is a possibility that it collapses, but the probability is that it will not.
Yeah.
But there is still, it's not.
But if there is an earthquake, then your probability turns into, then the possibility turns into a probability if there is for an earthquake, for example.
No, that I think the other way around, because probable is higher.
Well, yeah, okay, yes, let's align the words, but the point is that if you expect an earthquake, then you don't stay at home, or maybe you go close to the how you call this, the fundamental wall, the one that does not collapse, or there are walls that are I don't know,
like the containers.
Yeah. Okay, but then the probability of the wall, it's based on your belief. Now you expect that your ceiling will not collapse, and the possibility, yeah, of course we can say, yeah, there's a possibility. It's like you walk on the road and you find €1,000 on the ground, on the street. Well, yes, it's possible, nothing prohibits it, but it's very, very improbable that you find €1,000 on the sidewalk when you walk. So it's so low the chance that you don't even consider it, you don't count on it. So you're not going, you're not walking on the sidewalk checking if there is €1,000. Oh, hey, might be there, let me look. No, you walk normally, you look straight. So the same with the ceiling collapsing. You don't really think that the ceiling is going to collapse during the night. Otherwise, you would not sleep. So this is why the range of possibility has a very big span from something which is okay, yes, it's possible that I find €1,000 on the sidewalk, that the ceiling collapsed this evening. Yes, okay, there is no natural law that prohibits it. But then something that is also possible is that my daughter will come up and knock at the doors and enters this room. Okay, this is possible. It's not probable, it's possible. And it's more possible that my daughter will knock at the door and enter the rooms, but the ceiling collapses. So the range of possibilities is very broad, wide.
But it's never 100%.
No, if it is 100%, then there is a necessity.
Yes.
When we work with probability, when it is on the 90%, 80, 90%, yeah, I would say more than 90. Yeah, we make it something probable. So the tools that we use in philosophy. When we are close to 50, it's possible. So we don't need a number. It's more a feeling. Is it close? Is it 100%? It cannot be under. It cannot be elsewhere. Then okay, it's necessity. It's very probable. It has to be like that, or it would be nonsense if it was not like that. Well, that is very probable. It's above 80, it's 90%, maybe 95. Okay. When possible, everything that is below, that goes down to 10, then we have the impossibility, which is the necessity of the opposite. So well, I don't know. If you want numbers, I give you numbers. Let's say necessity is 100%. And then impossibility, which is the necessity from the other side, it's 0%. From 100 to 90 or 10 to 0, we have probability. And then between 10 and 90, we have possibility. Okay? But it's something that should help you to think, not to imprison you, not to make you prisoner of this thinking. Yeah, Anka.
So I want to make sure that I understood. We use these registers of reality to see if an argument is implicit or missing, and if it's possible, like we gave this example, does it mean that it's missing or that it's an overinterpretation?
Yeah, okay. Then let's try not to confuse the concept, the ideas, but repeat your question, because you gave quite a long, you summarized and then you gave a kind of a question. You give me a question.
So in this case, in the example that we did with teaches, with yes, because it teaches us, we reached the conclusion that it is a possibility. It is in the possibility register.
Conclusion that this argument is incomplete.
It is, yeah, it is incomplete because, but we did use the register of reality to reach that conclusion, right?
Yes. This argument is incomplete because something is missing to make it a full argument, to complete it. And why it is incomplete? Because we miss the part that links teaching with questioning everything. And in order to have that part is not implicit, it has to be written there, to be explicitate, because what we can think about teaching can be many things, and we wrote 3. Only one of these 3 things of many things that we can think about teaching, ways of teaching, are connected with questioning everything. So only one of these further development of the idea of teaching would fit the question. But there are many others. This is just one possibility for completing, for fulfilling, or what? Deploying the idea of teaching. Therefore, it's not obvious, it's not implicit in it. It's not visible since the beginning. It has to be stated. Therefore, the idea of learning because it helps us to test if the knowledge is that we have is valid is not implicit in teaching. It's there, but not obvious when I have to make it explicit. Otherwise, I cannot pretend, I cannot assume that the other understands it. I cannot pretend that the other sees it, because it's not the only thing that is contained in teaching. There are many things there. Okay? That's why this argument is incomplete, because there is something missing, something that should be written, and it's not obvious. I have to make an effort to find this connection. And the effort, well, is our first 40 minutes of the workshop to write these 3 hypotheses, 1, 2, 3. If it was obvious, then we would have found the only one and immediately. Also, the time and the effort that it takes to find something, to elaborate an answer, indicates, is a hint for an argument if it is, if something is implicit, obvious, or not. Well, if you say something, well, if thinking, well, couple relationship are wonderful in this. You say something, you think that something else is implicit, well, and your partner does not understand, and then you end up arguing. Okay, then you go to a friend, you try with 10 different people, and you test, you verify if it was implicit or not. You say the same thing, the same answer, and you check if on the other side the message that you had in mind is delivered or not. If the people, if more than the half understand you, well, it means it was implicit. Yes, you said A, but it was implicit B, and it's a legitimate that on the other side should be understood also B when you say A. If out of 10 people, only 1 person guesses B, well, then it means that no, it was not there. It was not obvious. It was not implicit. It was too far. Yeah.
So our interpretation is too far, what you're saying?
Repeat.
There is this concept of over-interpretation. Could we say that an argument that is only possible is an over-interpretation?
No, but we are confusing the ideas.
Then what is over-interpretation?
Over-interpretation is when you put too much into something, too much that is not there. It's not, well, okay, it's coherent, it might be the case, but you don't have enough elements to you are projecting. You over-interpretate, it means that you put too much subjectivity, you go too far with your imagination. Interpretation is always a mix of objectivity and subjectivity. So if you exceed with objectivity, you have an underinterpretation. If you exceed with subjectivity, you have overinterpretation. Because you put too much of your own thinking, your imagination, your ideas.
Mm-hmm.
If you exceed with objectivity, it means that you re-elaborate yourself too little. Then you basically repeat what it's already given. So that's why it's not a problem. It's not a specific problem of argumentation. Argumentation normally provides new material, new idea. So what we did here, well, the first one teaches us there is a new idea, the idea of teaching. It's not contained in the question. It's the answer is adding this concept, this idea. Then we have to check if it makes sense, if it works, if it supports the yes.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be greedy, Anka. Let's stay with few concepts. Let's not put everything together. It was a difficult task, difficult exercise, what we did this evening, because we are merging things together, and we try to, and we are adding contaminations with ideas, with tools together. But let's also, before we put together things, or when we put together things, when we mix things, we have to be able first to distinguish them, to differentiate. Otherwise, we create confusion. So first, analytical moment, analysis, we separate, we define, we split roles. Okay, then we start to mix, to put together things. But first we have to define, to segregate. Otherwise, it's confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
And I have one more question.
Sure, go ahead.
So we agree that this argument is incomplete because we found other possible ways of teaching.
Yes.
And the question is, if in order to strengthen an argument, we need to move it from possibility to probability by adding, for example, a new information.
By adding a new information, I don't know what you mean. What do you want to do here? But is it a comment? No, Anka, I don't know. If you want me to, what do you want from me? Is it a question?
You presented these registers of reality tool.
Yeah.
To see if the argument is implicit or it's missing, and
Yeah.
we agreed that this in this exercise we did, the argument was missing, and and we said that because it's just a probability that this is true. And I was wondering how we would make an argument that would be valid, and if that means moving it from possibility to probability.
Okay, no, it's not about moving from possibility to probability. It's about stating something. You have to write it. You can, the probability and possibility is something that you can use to check the implicit. This was Alex's point. How can we determine if something is implicit or not? Because the other day you were discussing and half of you said, yes, this is implicit, no need to write it. And another half of you said, no, this is not implicit. It's not obvious, you have to write it. Okay, now we discussed the first 1 hour, well, and also now, because it's already a while that we are discussing this, but how to check if something is implicit or not. Well, this tool of probability and possibility can help. If the implicit is probable, it means that you can't think about something else. There are not a wide range of possibilities that you can think about when you say X. You say X, if you claim that Y is implicit, it means that what? I tell you X, think about another letter. What? And you cannot think but Y. Okay, but therefore Y is implicit. If I tell you X and I tell you, okay, tell me another letter that derives from X, and you start to say A, B, Y, Z, well, okay, well, then it's not true that Y is implicit. It's obvious when you say X, because you can also say A, B, and C. This is what we did. So it's a tool that we can use to check what is implicit or not. And it's important to check if something is implicit or not, because it helps us to determine if the argument is incomplete or not. Alex, you wanted to say something? And now you know. Now you withdraw.
So just if we wanted to fix this sentence to add something, just so I understand it properly, we could say, yes, because it teaches us to test if the knowledge we have is valid.
Yes.
Then it's fine.
Yes.
Because then it's very clear how teaching and questioning are linked together here.
Yes.
And it's also very probable that by asking questions, you check knowledge.
Yes. 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 It connects very well. Asking questions, test knowledge, validity, teaching. When we did not conclude, but I don't want to go back to it now. I would prefer, I rather prefer to check on the process, on the workshop, but it remains undecided whether this argument is undifferentiated or not. We did not conclude on that. But okay, we'll leave this discussion for another moment. Now, Alex, you laugh, and you realize that we did not conclude that one. Yeah. Okay. No, now let's finish here. So we stop. Let's wait a moment. Okay, refresh your mind and think about these 2 hours. It was very abstract, very transcendental workshop on the tools of the knowledge itself, of the possibility of knowing things. So this was, I have to drop a message in the tutor chat, how was the workshop? And I will say, hey, this was a very transcendental workshop.
What was your plan?
Eh?
What was your plan?
Well, no, I had no plan. Well, actually, yes, there was a plan. I was told by the boss that I should work on, I should push you to create and to invent a workshop on argumentation. I didn't do it. Then I should take exercise from last year course and evaluate argument. I didn't do it. It was different activity. Okay, so my expectation was completely different. So I expected to do what the boss assigned, but no, I didn't. Okay. but it was a transcendental workshop, so I enjoyed it. I like it very much. So tell me some comments on this workshop, or what do you get, or also on the process. You stay more on the process, on the methodology, on the clarity, if it is not only on the content, because it was this, how do you say, metal, it was we stayed on the meta level because we were discussing all the time tools of the thinking. But yeah, okay, good. So go ahead, tell me something.
Well, maybe I don't know if I can start.
Yes.
I enjoyed it. I was the first half hour. I was not 100% following. I tried my best, but I noticed that what I said before with Alex, that I also know I recognize also this problem with me, but yeah, the way you have tried to explain it and give it with and also with the examples directly, giving examples and taking us step by step, that I really found it very good, because sometimes we get of course feedback, but it's short, then we have to move on. But now you really opened it up for 2 hours and you gave us all the time to learn about it with the different examples that we did, and you gave also feedback on. And I really enjoyed it. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, welcome. Good. Let's see, someone else. Alex, Anka.
Yeah, I think it's an underrated competency. The way it's explained, it's the short notes that we have. Sometimes I think those can maybe, or they've been an obstacle for me, because I'm trying to learn something very, very formulaically. And that can be useful. You recognize certain patterns, but I also recognize now that there's a lot of building blocks that you have to put together to fully grasp it. And I found this theories, the registers of reality, and how we use that I'll remember that one. Very, very useful. And then also some of the structure stuff, moving between question and answer, how you broke that down. Sometimes I would confuse myself and start with the question, and yeah, the interrelationship between answer and question. And I started to see how you were thinking about it in a very logical fashion, because
Okay. Yeah, got it. Yes. Yeah, because there are things that if you switch an element with another one, then you get lost. No, it should be the right connection. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes. Good. Sorry for interrupting, Alex. Go on.
Oh, that was very enjoyable. I'm now considering switching to competencies.
Okay, this is another thing that I'm going to write in the tutor chat. Hey, there is one more guy in the competencies group. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
But will will we be doing with you every 2 weeks, or the tutors are changing?
We are changing. Well, we put our name in the schedule, but no, there is no tutor dedicated to competencies, no tutor dedicated to workshop. Well, we switch. It's quite random. Well, for instance, I will be more running workshop in the first half of the course and less in the second half. So you can probably see me in the next 2-3 weeks, not at the end of the course, for instance, because it's with my schedule. I have to match it. But no, it's not a tutor dedicated to one competence, one specialization, sorry, and one to another. So we will taste all the tutors. Good. So if nothing to add, then thanks a lot. Well, there is a new thing that I discovered that I will share with you. Is the AI companion that I recorded the workshop, so you will have the recording. But then at the end of the workshop, there is this AI intelligence in Zoom that gives a summary. It's very business oriented, so it's not focused on the process, on the thinking, but it's more focused on actions, actionable items, tasks, result, who does what. But it's a nice summary of the topics that have been discussed. It's quite spot on the topic or the content. So I will share it with you. Okay.
Oh,
In the chat.
nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
So, ciao. See you next time.
Well, good night, guys. Bye. Thank you.
Buonanotte.